and welcome to Chad's Ask the Expert. My name is Gabriela Navarro, and I am the Bilingual Health Information Specialist here at Chad. Today, we will be talking about the essential elements that guide therapeutic work within Latino immigrant families. I am pleased to welcome our expert, Dr. Luke Smith, board certified in child and adolescent and general psychiatry, and the executive director of El Futuro, a nonprofit behavioral health agency that offers outpatient services to the Latino population in North Carolina. Is it feasible for providers to compile all these resources tailored to the Latino community, knowing that they have many patients and hectic schedules, and how to combat that for the providers?
So I think it's important for us to get comfortable with something that beefs up the care as usual. If I'm knowing that somebody's coming in and the parents don't have the language, the primary language that I'm speaking, or that they're low literacy, or that they have a bigger extended family network and everything is filtered through, what am I going to say to my spouse? What am I going to say to my mother-in-law? They're going to be critical of me. That I need to be thinking about something that enhances their understanding beyond just the moment that I'm in. And I need to think about it not only in a written format, but also in a video format where people can watch it, because that's how a lot of people are consuming information. And so I would say that, I've just talked about and oftentimes talk about a lot of things that can be an optimal treatment for children with ADHD and their families. But if I can find one thing that I can just go to, that's my go-to resource, that's going to be very powerful and really help move us forward with the care that we're giving right now.
The cost of healthcare often deters immigrants from seeking help. How can providers influence a change in this perspective?
So we're always dealing within a healthcare system that has either public health insurance with Medicaid type options, or private insurance, or no insurance. And the very first thing is to understand who the person is I'm working with if we're trying to provide a prescription or trying to do therapy. And for us to be pie in the sky, oh, here's what you need, this is where it's at, and then not respect the fact that this is going to significantly cost the patient. We know that some of the stimulant medicines are $400 a month. That's too much. People aren't going to do that. It's already a sacrifice to come in maybe to the appointment, and now I'm thinking about giving them a very expensive medication. I need to be very well versed in what is the implication of this person's insurance or lack of insurance on prescribing. There are long-acting stimulants that are available if you don't have insurance that you can get with discount coupons like GoodRx. Some of the companies will offer patient assistance programs where we can actually apply and get the medication for free with cards that they can take to the pharmacy. The cost is huge. We really have to think about that. And that's just for the medication side. We know that things like an ADHD coach or behavioral coaching is important to augment medication with, but what if a person can't afford those expensive individual visits? Or what if their insurance plan doesn't pay that? Is there a way to partner with a group format? Or perhaps none of that's available, and so we look at an AVID program within a school that's going to be reviewing executive function skill training for middle schoolers and high schoolers. Maybe that's what we need to go to, and we really need to find out what programs are available. It's going to be a piecemeal approach because everybody's different, but we have to keep those dollar signs in our brain and realize that that's going to deter a lot of our good intentions if we're not thinking about that.
I definitely agree with that. Are there any specific dietary or lifestyle modifications that you recommend for managing ADHD symptoms within the Latino community? I know with my family, we're all rice, beans, just everything, that bread for sure. So
Oh my goodness. That's right. And I mean, in your family, you probably call bread pan dulce sometimes, and that's
yeah.
sweet bread, or arroz is rice, and then tortillas. We're talking about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates we're talking about Takis, right? The kids love these Takis, and that's easy to get them at the store to calm them down. And now we've given them something that it's an expression of love to feed these children and fatten them up. We want them to be healthy children. But not all of those foods are going to have a good effect on blood sugar. And when they get to school, they also find themselves, so there's that, more protein, more vegetables, healthy foods like that. There's also the school environment where they're oftentimes on school breakfasts and lunches, and they're getting to choose what they eat. And what are they going for in the morning? Pancakes. What are they going for at noon? Chicken nuggets and fries. And they're going for chocolate milk, not just a regular milk. So we're talking about sugars, we're talking about carbs, and it's just causing this up and down effect in the bloodstream. And that's not healthy for people's cognitive ability and maintenance of focus. So yeah, we need to be thoughtful about and not critical about, because we can't take away pan dulce, we can't take away tortillas, but let's try to also elevate other types of food and emphasize what those other types of foods do for their cognitive abilities.
How can a provider shed some insight to families, specifically to parents, to not care what outside people say about their kids' diagnosis or their diagnosis? Because sometimes parents are the ones who have ADHD too, but growing up, they never seek that information or those diagnoses because they always had the saying like "ponte las pilas," like that's just you have to work through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that translates into parents looking at their child and not crediting it as a real diagnosis. This is not a real diagnosis. This kid just needs to get their energy out. They just need to exercise more. They just need better discipline. Or like I've said before, the parents are hearing that their children are poorly raised, and this is a parenting failure. So what we're speaking about really is a psychoeducation. What is ADHD? Going over that time and time again. When we did a lot of work with focus groups with parents of children who have ADHD, and we asked them, what's your understanding of ADHD? One of the things that came up was they're not just understanding ADHD for themselves, they're understanding it for their family members. Because the first thing they're going to have to do is go and talk to their family member about it and defend it to their family member. And their family member's nosy, and they're going to be watching and saying, why are you giving your kid a medicine? That's addictive. That's bad for their brain. So the family's scrutinizing and either supporting or not supporting. And so they have to be able to talk to family members about what we're talking about. So using terms that they can use, using metaphors. I think metaphors and narratives are very powerful for people to communicate. And so we can use examples of things. I'll give an example of one, is that we will talk about the metaphor of a light bulb in a child's prefrontal cortex going off. And if we can help that light bulb go off, it's not that that kid's brain doesn't work, it's just that the part of the brain needs to light up for the other parts of the brain to work better. Another metaphor we use is that of a conductor in a band, and how the prefrontal cortex is the conductor and is directing the band, the brain, to listen and focus and to tune out and to coordinate movement and to regulate emotion and to plan accordingly. And all those things actually do come from somewhere in the brain. And so if we can help that part of the brain do a little bit better, your kid will do better. And guess what? It's not a problem with your kid that's of intelligence. It's just simply the coordination, the conductor part. So that's two metaphors that we may use. A medicine metaphor may be glasses. If you put on glasses, you can see better. And medication is actually helping the child to focus better. And it only happens when you take the medicine. When you don't take the medicine, it's once again hard to focus, just like glasses. You put them on, you can see better. You take them off, now it's harder to see. And so that we get a lot of mileage out of that, because then later on they may say, well, I don't want my kid to be addicted. And it's like, well, glasses are not addicting, but they're just needed, aren't they? So you can put on some glasses, and it doesn't mean you're addicted to glasses. It just means you need them. Same with the medicine. It just means the child needs the medication. And that maybe the glasses don't strengthen your eyes so that someday you don't need glasses. You may need them for a long, long time. Same with the medicine. We don't know if that's going to change the child's brain in order to be able to actually ultimately focus by themselves. We'll watch and see. But that's a metaphor that we use.
I want to say thank you for taking the time to just teach us everything. Like I said, I've learned so much, and our viewers have as well. So thank you so much.